All right, we're ready.
Good morning to each and every one, and welcome to this week's City Council meeting. At this time, we'll turn it over to our very capable City Clerk.
This is the regular meeting of the Mobile City Council, Tuesday, April 20th. We'll have our invocation by Pastor Dr. W. James of Grace and Truth Christian Fellowship Church, and then we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand. Dr. James.
Good morning. Let us pray. Eternal God, our Father, our Lord, our Savior, we thank you for another sunset and another sunrise on this beautiful Tuesday morning. We pray that thou will grant for the mayor's office, the office of councilwomen, councilmen, abundance of governmental knowledge, understanding, and wisdom. Keep us with thy keeping care. Keep us with thy keeping power, and certainly, Lord, keep us all in the path that thou would have us to go. These blessings we pray in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Texting Lisa.
Roll call. President Manzi.
Here.
Vice President Small.
Here.
Councilmember Richardson.
Here.
Councilmember Williams.
Here.
Councilmember Days.
Here.
Councilmember Rich.
Here.
Councilmember Gregory.
Here.
Statement of rules.
In response to national, state, and local guidance due to the COVID-19 pandemic, and in accordance with the Alabama Open Meetings Act and the Governor's Supplemental Emergency Proclamation, we are meeting remotely, probably for the last time. While we are all in different places, we are able to participate as if we were all in the council chambers at Government Plaza. And in keeping with the requirements of the Alabama Open Meetings Act, the public is still able to observe the meeting through the live stream. All items we will address during this meeting are either necessary to respond to COVID-19 or necessary to perform minimum essential functions of city government. The public is still able to present comments to the council by emailing them to cityclerk@cityofmobile.org. Up to 30 minutes prior to the meeting, those public comments will be acknowledged, distributed to council members, and included in the meeting minutes. As always, the meeting is live streamed and can be viewed through the city's website or on the council's Facebook page. All speakers during the various parts of this meeting will be granted 3 minutes to make their presentation. At the conclusion of 2 minutes, a bell will sound, indicating that you have 60 seconds to complete any and all commentary. We'd ask that each and every presenter would observe those rules. This is the rules for this particular meeting, and we thank you for your continued interest in your municipal government.
Approval of minutes of April 13th.
So move.
Second.
And properly moved in second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved.
Okay. Communications from the mayor.
Good morning. So, Lisa, for some reason I can't get in on my computer, but I'll just speak into the microphone here, okay? And I don't know if
it's not showing you in the waiting room, Mayor. I don't know what's going on.
We'll figure it out after this. This will work for right now. Okay.
Okay, there it is. Okay, they have you on now.
Well, I'm already different place. The computer's in another
Okay.
room, so I'm just going to speak and then I'll get online in a few moments. You know, as
Okay.
I've mentioned before, the city and Alabama Power Company have been working to convert all of our city streetlights to the newer LED fixtures. To date, we've converted about 10,000 streetlights. As part of that plan, though, we've had a long-standing obligation contract with ALDOT to maintain the lights on I-65 and I-10. Over a long period of time, the wiring, the light fixtures, and all the maintenance involved with maintaining has become very expensive and also very just difficult to do because of the manpower requirements. So on the agenda today is a $2 million allocation, which really is going to enable us to set up a contract so that we can start the process of replacing or converting really all of those light fixtures. This contract would specifically refer to replacing existing fixtures and also any poles that may be missing along those two corridors. So it's not about installing new poles in new locations. It's about replacing what is existing. But anyway, it's something that's desperately needed. It'll go a long way toward improving public safety along those two corridors. So your consideration of this is greatly appreciated. You know, yesterday I had an opportunity, and it was really a privilege to stand with Mobile County District Attorney Ashley Rich, Public Safety Director Lawrence Petitions, and Interim Police Chief Roy Hodge. And we issued a proclamation, gave it to District Attorney Ashley Rich about it being National Crime Victims' Rights Week. You know, we recognize, as does she, that identifying and reaching and serving victims of crime is very, very important to preventing crime. You know, and it's especially true for those groups that have less access to the healing services and avenues to justice. So we're very fortunate that Mobile Police Department has had a very good working relationship with the District Attorney's Office, and we continue to support them, especially this week as we recognize it as National Crime Victims' Rights Week. On another note, this Thursday evening from 6 to 7:30, CERM, and that's CERM, CERM engineering firm, and the City of Mobile will be holding a community kickoff meeting for our EPA Brownfields assessment grant. This is really about preserving and restoring Africatown. It's an opportunity for the residents of Africatown to connect and participate in the details of what this Brownfields grant will do. So again, that's at 6 to 7:30 this Thursday, and it's a virtual meeting, and you can go online and find it, the Africatown Brownsfield at CERM.com, but it's also on our website under latest news and all of our social media profiles. So we're hoping that all those who are interested will participate in that. Last item, no, second to last item, has to do with litter cleanups this Saturday in partnership with Mobile Baykeeper, the Capital League, and the Fuse Project. There'll be a cleanup in the Tricentennial Park area from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. The next one would be May 1st in Medal of Honor Park, and then on May 15th in Baumhauer Randall Park. So we're excited about those opportunities to go out and pick up litter. Hope you'll be able to join us. Also, I'd like to point out that due to equipment challenges in the trash department, we are behind on our trash schedule. We appreciate the patience that each of you have regarding this, but know that we will not be issuing any fines for those with trash on the curb due to delays. Also, my concluding remark would be on a focus recognition on now Chief of Staff, Jim Barber. Over the last 3 years, he has worked diligently going back and forth to Montgomery, talking with legislators, not just our legislative delegation, but also at the State House about Anai's law. It is the law which has been approved by the legislature, and it's scheduled for next year to be an amendment, a statewide amendment. And if passed, it gives the judge the opportunity to deny bail on someone that fits a certain profile as being a dangerous repeat offender that may do harm if they were to be let out on bail. It's a huge, huge step for not just the city of Mobile, but for law enforcement all across the state of Alabama. And a lot of the accolades, if not all of them, really go to Jim Barber, followed up by Chip Brown and Senator David Sessions, who really carried it for us in the Senate and the House. So very fortunate that we have hopefully we'll have another tool in our toolbox in being able to protect our citizens. So Madam Clerk and Mr. President, those are all of my remarks.
Thank you.
Mr. President. Mr. President.
Mr. Daves.
Thank you very much. I would like to add my thanks to the mayors, to Chief Barber for his persistent work on getting Anai's law passed through the legislature. That's the first step. It's still got to be approved by the voters of the state of Alabama. It's a significant first step. And we have seen, even in our own community, instances where criminals with past histories that indicate they're going to engage in recidivist behavior have been let out on bail and then do just that. So I think this is an important step forward, and thank you, Chief Barber, for your work and those who helped you on it.
Mr. President.
Ms. Greger.
Hi, yeah, I too thank you, Mayor and Chief Barber, for all of your work on this. I think it really will make a huge difference in public safety. I also, Mayor, thank you for telling us about the trash schedule. I'm sure, like me, others have had phone calls from residents about what to do about trash and being behind schedule. Is it possible for someone in your administration to put out maybe a graphic or something that we can include on our Facebook page and also in our newsletter, just to let people know what's going on and what they need to do in the interim?
Yeah, we do have it on the city page, and we'll make sure it's updated. We're getting daily reports from the trash department, sanitation department, telling us where they are in the process and when they'll be caught up. So they're working 7 days a week with the limited assets they have to try and get caught back up and then stay on schedule. Just so everyone knows, we expect 6 replacement trucks to come in next month. In the month of May. We don't know the exact date, but in the month of May, they've been on order since June of last year. Manufacturing in the United States is behind, and we're getting indications that it may even be further behind going forward based on impacts of labor and COVID and everything else. So we're trying to adjust our ordering times to try and make sure this doesn't happen with other equipment in the future.
Thanks, Colonel DeLapp. I appreciate that. I had actually received an email from someone telling me that some trash had been picked up by our crews on Sunday. So I know for a fact that you're working 7 days a week, and I really appreciate it. And we'll be looking for that information that you spoke about so that we can put it on our council Facebook page and also in our newsletters.
Mr. President.
Mr. Vice President.
Yeah, I'd like to commend the administration and also Chief Barber on passing on this law. Like Councilman Daves has stated earlier, this situation like this affected us in our community also. But this is like one thing out of many that we need to address. And one of the major things another major thing that we need to address is the overcrowding in our metro jail. I was just speaking with someone on yesterday, and they was talking about individuals getting out early because of the jail is overcrowding. And if we just let an individual out of jail because there's no room in the jails and it's overcrowding, we potentially got people that committed crimes going back into our community. and probably commit more because, you know, some of them do know that the possibility they could get released early because the jail is overcrowding. And another thing that we're also facing in our community is, which I think that really need to be, need to be really addressed, is mental illness. We're experiencing a lot of mental illness in our communities. And it's just not no east side of Mobile, it's east and west side of Mobile. And the lack of mental institutions in our communities, and only thing that's left is Metro Jail. And you got between people that committing crimes to people that have mental illness to other people that's been in jail that's making this overcrowding. These need to be addressed and really need to be addressed as soon as possible. And I know it's going to take more than just, you know, just a local delegation, you know, as far as the city and the county, going to take some state help and possibly federal help also. But it's something that we need to also address too. And again, you know, hats off, you know, to the chief and all who have worked on the law, the state law, to get this in front of the voters to vote on. But it's, again, that's just one of many things that we need to address, again, to cut and curb some of the crime that's going on in our communities. Because again, the overcrowding in jail, prisoners know the possibility that they can get out early. And then, and again, mental illness is affecting our community bad. And it just, again, it's not just in one particular district. It's not in one particular side of town. It's all across, you know, our, you know, community, unfortunately. And again, it needs to be addressed. But again, I do commend the administration. Also, I thank the mayor too for giving us an update about the trash. Thank you, Mr. President.
Mr. President, John.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Vice President. Mr. Williams.
Yeah, I think we got a lot of good things going on. And I hate to, you know, just keep bringing it up, but the one thing that's starting to show up again as it warms up here in Mobile is aggressive panhandling and homelessness at some of our major intersections. And I've already talked to Mr. Barber, and I've asked for some help on this thing. But at Azalea and Government, 3 of my best neighborhoods surrounding that are faced with homelessness at the Exxon station, at the shopping center, behind the shopping center, in their neighborhoods. And we just need some help. I don't know what to do. I'm not asking. I'm not trying to give you an answer, but I think it would be a good timing right now to have public safety call a meeting in the area and address it. So I just asked for administration's help on that. So thank you.
Yes, sir, Mr. Williams.
Mr. President.
Mr. Richardson.
And traveling I-65 south and exiting at Government Street. It's a permanent group. It's there all the time, panhandling. When I go to Costco, that's the route I take. When I get to that light, it's somebody there. They may switch out, but somebody is there panhandling.
Yes, sir. And I want to join my Mr. Wiggins.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I have a proclamation. I just didn't want to get too far along without doing the proclamation.
Absolutely. I would be remiss if I didn't join everyone else in congratulating Chief of Staff Barber and Mayor Stimson and all of our law enforcement officials, our state representatives, state senators who have been advocating so valiantly on this Anias law. And it's, you know, out of that tragedy and out of that family's misfortune, hopefully so many families will be spared that pain and that suffering and future calamities upon communities. And so I'm hopeful that the voters will vote in favor moving forward. And we appreciate all of the hard work of everyone who worked to bring this to fruition.
If I could comment.
Yes, Yes, ma'am. Ms. Rich?
Thank you. Thank you. And speaking of bringing this to a referendum for the residents and voters, can we get some details on when that's to be expected? Because I take it it's part of the legislation, and that way, as people are thinking about it right now, they'll be prepared. And again, it will take their votes, but I think if they knew exactly what it involves and how it will hopefully prevent that revolving door. That's the expression people used to use. You let people, they come before the judge and the judge is forced to let them out and everyone's hands were tied. And this changes the great dynamics on that. And so if we could be given that information of when it will be on which ballot and hopefully very well received and therefore voted into law. So thanks again to Chief Barber, Director Barber. You have a million names, but anyway, Chief of Staff Barber, for all that you do, because it really shows your dedication to this community and your great professionalism in law enforcement and what the system needs to do to make things better. And thanks again for everyone who helped to move that forward.
Mr. President, can I do my proclamation now?
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Gregory?
Great, thank you. This is for the Child Advocacy Center and their Serve It Up with Love tennis tournament that's coming up. And there's Elaine. Good morning, Elaine. Whereas the Child Advocacy Center is celebrating the 15th anniversary of the Serve It Up with Love charity tennis tournament on April 25th through the 27th to continue awareness of Mobile's community response for coordinating services for child sexual and severe physical abuse. And whereas this event is the largest charity tennis tournament in the state, and this premier tennis event is the largest fundraiser the Child Advocacy Center has. And whereas in their warm, child-friendly facility, 28 professionals from 7 different agencies work as a team so that the youngest victims of crime can come to one central location and receive all the help they might need. And whereas in 2020, children came to the center more than 1,000 times to receive the much needed services, which are free of charge to those in need, and especially during this pandemic. And whereas the Child Advocacy Center will continue their services to help keep our children safe and will continue helping abused children, ensuring they have a bright and hopeful future. So now, therefore, I, Gina Gregory, Council Member of District 7, along with all of the members of the Mobile City Council, do hereby proclaim April 25th and through the 27th, 2021, as Child Advocacy Center Days in Mobile. And we urge all of our citizens to join with us in this momentous occasion. So congratulations, Elaine, and everyone at the Child Advocacy Center, and of course to everyone who is involved in planning this wonderful tennis tournament.
Thank you so much. Very appreciated. Yes, we appreciate all of your help, the community support from the City Council, from our community. We couldn't do it without all of you. And behind me, I have the 5th year proclamation from the City of Mobile, the 10th year proclamation, and today add the 15th year. So we're thrilled to be part of the city. Thank you.
That's great, Elaine. I hope the weather holds up for you all this weekend.
We sure do too. Please come out and visit if you get a chance. We'd love to see you.
Oh, yeah, thanks.
Thank you, Ms. Gregory, and thank you to all of the fine staff and leadership there at the Child Advocacy Center.
Thank you.
Madam City Clerk, I believe we have some special guests from Baykeeper.
Hi, yes, we're from Mobile Baykeeper, and today we want to honor our AmeriCorps members who work really for Mobile Baykeeper, but also for the city. We have patrol members who go out and monitor waterways. They also take care of citizen concerns. We have educators who are working with students. And we also have our volunteer engagement who run all of our cleanups, including the big one this Saturday in conjunction with the city. And they also are always, getting out there and getting the community equipment for DIY cleanup. So we wanted to honor our AmeriCorps members. We're a very small staff at Mobile Baykeeper and could not do our work without them. So we love having them, and we learned so much from them as well. So thank you all for having us this morning.
Absolutely. Did you want to introduce who you have there with you?
I would love to. I'll let them introduce themselves if they would like. Okay, y'all go ahead.
I got something. I'm Lizzie Simon. I'm with the education team, but I was on patrol for the last year and a half before that. So.
I'm Sierra Darty, and I'm on the education team.
Hey, my name is Paul Lockett, and I'm on the patrol team.
My name is Aaron Castle. I'm also on the patrol team.
I'm Melissa Flanagan. I'm also on the patrol team. I'm Lucy Johnson, volunteer engagement.
I'm Taylor Weldon. I'm also volunteer engagement.
Thanks, thank you all.
We are incredibly grateful to each and every one of you for all of your hard work. As was just remarked, Baykeeper has a small staff and it's gotten just a little smaller because now the executive director is over here with us. But I know there will continue to be a great organization under great leadership, and we appreciate all of the AmeriCorps volunteers and staff for everything that you do. Keep up the good work.
Thank you, and we're so glad she's just down the street so we can come get help when we need, right?
Absolutely.
Thank you all.
Okay, that's it.
Madam City Clerk.
Adoption of the agenda.
Mr. President.
Mr. Days.
Mr. President, I move the adoption of the agenda and that all items listed as essential COVID-19 items be declared as such.
Second.
Been properly moved in second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Opposed?
Appeals, we have requests for waiver of the noise ordinance on May 1st, Delwood Drive East, May 8th on Wilkinson Way, on May 8th on West Wimbledon Drive, May 15th in Langham Park, April 29th on O'Daly's on Dauphin Street, April 25th in Melavana Park, May 2nd in Melavana Park, and on April the 24th on Windsor Avenue.
So moved.
Second.
It's been properly moved in second.
Mr. President.
Ms. Gregory?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention something. There is a noise waiver for Langham Park for a 70th birthday party. And just so that anybody who is tuning in and listening to us will understand, over the weekend, there were some complaints about noise at Langham Park. There were no noise waivers over the weekend. However, a lot of people were taking advantage of the great weather after having been inside because of all of the rain we had. I'm sure being sunny on Sunday was a great opportunity for everyone to get out. But there were some complaints from neighbors who back up to Langham Park about loud stereos and car motors and that kind of thing. So I forwarded the information to our Parks and Recreation Director, Shonda Smith, along with Public Safety Executive Director, Lawrence Batiste, to let them know about it. So Chief Batiste has said that they will provide close patrols in the park to make sure that the noise levels are kept down to legal limits. But I did want to let everyone know who has been on Next Door Neighbor talking about this and contacted my office that we are aware. And the police department will be vigilant in patrolling out at the park to make sure that the noise level is what it's supposed to be during the daytime hours. Of course, we all know that we are pretty flexible or pretty lenient during the daytime hours when it comes to noise. If it had been at night and we had gotten these complaints, it would have been a little bit different story. But I just wanted to let all the neighbors know that we are aware and we are taking action to make sure that everyone is able to enjoy the park, and also the neighborhoods behind the park, people are able to get outside and enjoy being outside without being disturbed. So that's all I wanted to share. I don't have a problem with this waiver. It's for a 70th birthday party at the park. Hopefully they won't get too terribly wild.
All right, we got a motion.
Any other discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Presentation of petitions and other communications to the council. We have Nick Lacus and Dr. Heslin.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Thank you for having us, members of the council. We appreciate it. I've caught me on my commute here to Montgomery, and I apologize about being in the car. But what I wanted to do real quick is introduce to you our new director for the Mitchell Cancer Institute, Dr. Marty Heslin. And coincidentally, timing just so worked out that our annual performance agreement is also on the agenda, so I can answer some questions about that later on if you'd like. But without taking up too much time, Dr. Heslin, if you don't mind, please introduce yourself and where you came from and all that.
Great, thanks. Audio on?
Yes, sir.
Yes, good. Thank you. My name is first President Manzi, council members and guests. Thanks for giving us the opportunity to introduce ourselves. I guess you know Nick, but I'm originally from New York and moved to Birmingham, Alabama 25 years ago. Worked at UAB as a surgical oncologist. I was the chief of the medical staff and the executive vice chair of surgery. I primarily do cancer surgery, and I'm just thrilled to be here at the Mitchell Cancer Institute in Mobile. I think it's one of the landmarks for the University of South Alabama. And I think it gives us an awesome opportunity to serve the citizens of Mobile and really the region as one of the only academic medical centers along the whole Gulf Coast. As a reminder, we have 230 employees and with an estimated economic impact of about $30 million. Our multidisciplinary teams take care of cancers that are both common and rare. And we really work to partner with the community physicians so we can provide ourselves as a resource for some of the more difficult diagnoses. And just to emphasize that we do have about 30 clinical trials open to provide, new and novel cancer care, and for people that run out of options for standard care. We have locations in Midtown, Spring Hill, and Fairhope. And it's not only about cancer treatment. We look to really have a holistic approach with physical therapy, survivorship, patient navigation, and really nutritional support. I'm working with some of the other physicians in the area on an integrative program so that we look at some of the alternative therapies as well as what we would consider more standard therapy. Again, just very thankful to be here. One comment, I did just arrive here from Birmingham. My wife and I are new, we're only a few months in. And I think that it appears that if I get the city council agenda every month, I'll be able to figure out where the parties are from the noise waiver agenda that you have here. If I can just snap a picture of that, I should be able to find my way around the city, but with all respect for the noise ordinance. Thank you all very much for your time.
All right.
Any questions?
Mr. President.
Ms. Gregg.
Welcome to Mobile. It's really good to have you here. I know that Mobile's gain is certainly Birmingham's loss. And I have been doing some treatment at both Mitchell Cancer Center as well as at UAB. And one of the times when I was in Birmingham and they found out that I was from Mobile, they started talking about how one of their best people had just left, that Mobile had stolen you away. So I had to laugh about that. So welcome to Mobile. It's really good to have you here and working at such a wonderful center as the Mitchell Cancer Institute is. And we are so blessed to have that institute right here in Mobile. As you mentioned, the only facility really on the Gulf Coast where all of the treatment can be had locally. So welcome.
Thank you.
I'm part of District 7, apparently.
Yeah, I really try to pay people a lot to say nice things about me. And obviously you were one of the recipients of that program. Thank you.
If I could comment.
Absolutely, Ms. Rich.
Thank you. Welcome, and thank you so much for introducing yourself to us and to the community. And if your institution has anything that you'd like to get out to the general public, we all do newsletters, and we would be happy to get that out. So any marketing tools, any fundraising, whatever you have going on, research that you want people to be aware of, I'm sure our readers would be very much engaged in all that you're doing. And thank you so much for your devotion to patient care. It's very obvious in your introduction that you have all the box tops, and we're really glad you're here. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, we would love to link our marketing and communications group, would love to link with anybody's page just to get some of our messages out. And we're working hard with a Cancering podcast that is just informational, as well as some of our events. So I'll work with our group to circle back and figure out how to do that.
Mr. President.
Mr. Richardson.
It's Dr. Heston, welcome to Mobile. And actually you're working, I can almost see the Mitchell Cancer Center from my front porch. I live in the neighborhood right near you. But what I wanted to say is that when the COVID-19 virus has been arrested and abated, I would like for you all to schedule a tour for the council. It's been a long time since we've been over there, and you all have made so many great strides since the last time we were over there. And I think it would be an eye-opener for us to go back through there and look at the improvements you all have made and what you're doing to keep people alive.
Yes, sir. We've added, we just completed a multidisciplinary telehealth, as well as our multidisciplinary care facility in the end on the second floor, so that we can accommodate people both with COVID, so as well as people at a distance. So we're respectful of, the challenges that we have, but as you all know, cancer doesn't really care about a virus. Right. And so we need to do everything we can do to ensure the safety and cancer treatment of the patients that we take care of. We would love to see you here. And when you give the word, I'll be happy to make it happen.
All right, sounds great. Thank you.
Thank you.
We're glad to have you. Welcome aboard. As Ms. Gregory said earlier, Birmingham's loss is our gain. And I know that the many patients whose lives will be touched by your impact are appreciative of you relocating here. USA Mitchell Cancer Institute is a great institution. We're really blessed as a region to have them here. And I know we will be further blessed by your leadership. So I look forward to the tour as well. And however we can be helpful, please count us in.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you all for the opportunity.
Did you all have any questions about the contract? For Nick?
No, I'm good on the contract.
Okay. This is our annual annual deal where you all approve it. It's a because of COVID, we normally do these in 4-year increments where you approve them each year, but COVID was a one-off year. So this is a 3-year contract. And just so you know, this is long-standing relationship. The money's put to good use to recruit physician teams and researchers to Mobile from outside of Mobile and specialized equipment. I think Dr. Heslin is a good example of how great and well worth that is. But it should also be noted that the support for the city started a long time ago, and a desire to support our uncompensated care, just specific to the Mitchell Cancer Institute, does about $700,000-ish a year in uncompensated care for Mobilians that can't afford their treatments. So, so just know that regardless of how you support us, it is well spent and much needed in the community, and we appreciate that. We report annually on it. Dr. Heslin will be back with you once he's settled in to give his full report, and I think you will be very pleased. And thank you, and vote yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. I'll be on if you need me. Thank you.
All right.
Thanks. Okay. Now we have Timothy Hollis.
Morning.
Regarding police and protocol.
Good morning.
Good morning.
All right. Good morning, Mr. President, Council, and Administration. I'll be brief, surely under 3 minutes. The issue that I'm speaking on today is an issue that's being a problem in our entire city, not just in District 1, but it's the use of signage. I can remember a time where this exact same council had, disapproval for all the extra signage that's in our city right-of-ways, that's on government property and things like that, such as like those 1-800 credit please, we fix bad credit signs, those type of signs, signs on telegram poles, those type of signages. But the most important issue is we're in the middle of campaign season, as we all know. And there are laws in our ordinance that make it sure that those signs are not supposed to be in those tight places. But apparently it's not being enforced in areas like Tomanville, Trinity Garden, or North Mobile, which would be like in the Boterra area. So what I'm saying is when I ride through the area, I've made 2 complaints to 311, one on March 19th and one on March 25th. There was a very small remedy done to take care of this, but it's only perpetuated since that time. It's getting worse, as I can count on my hand at the police precinct and at the Tomanville Library, where there's a candidate sign that has been there since February and no one has taken it up. When the grass is cut, it's put back down. So I know that our city is not supposed to be doing things like that or allowing things like that to go on. So my question is, whose department takes care of that? Does that department have enough employees to actually make sure that that problem is mitigated? And that's it.
Mr. President,
Mr. Richardson.
I would like to say ditto to Mr. Hollis. I've seen the same thing that he's reporting. It's out there.
If I could comment,
Ms. Rich.
Thank you. Thanks for bringing this to everyone's attention. And believe me, it's not just in one quarter of our city. These illegal signs are everywhere. And also flags that are not supposed to be there, these big banner flags that get put out on weekends, but then they stay all week. The law is clear on signage for a 24 by 24 inch sign. They can go in rights of way, not on medians, not on telephone poles or any other poles. And they can go from 4:00 p.m. on Friday afternoon until I think it's 7 or 8 a.m. on Monday. Then they're all supposed to be collected up. we need to revisit that ordinance, because we also didn't limit the number that people can put out. And they are definitely sitting in the medians, but we would need inspectors to go around municipal code and fence, which is what this would be when the signs are in the wrong place. They would have to go out on weekends and cite, or pull up those signs. So that's something that would be operational and organized. But again, the rules are clear, and perhaps this time of year in an election cycle, we should publicize exactly what those rules are. And again, it's everywhere, unfortunately. I don't want you to think it's just one area of town, because I get a lot of complaints from residents out in the district that I represent, where they see these signs that just sit there and, never go away. And this is the right of way you're talking about. So it is very clear. Candidates, when the election cycle is actually up and running, will get a packet with directions on where their signs can be. And so it needs to be addressed. You're absolutely correct, because it's very annoying to people to have this, and it's a lot of litter, becomes litter. Thanks.
Mr. President.
Mr. Days.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to comment on this also. Ms. Rich and I sponsored this legislation, I guess, early in my first term, and we had weeks of discussion, with the various stakeholders on this issue, and came up with this piece of legislation. I would tell Mr. Hollis that when I first ran, I had a large sign on a piece of property out in West Mobile that I was certain was not in the right of way, because it was placed so far back, but turned out that it was, because the city owned a lot of right of way at this corner. And I got a notice from the city to move the sign, which I immediately did. I don't know that was in 2013. I don't know who in the city is responsible for doing this now. A lot of these non-political signs, you really can't get to the person who placed them, because they're placed, these credit fix companies and other things. They're way off somewhere, and they've just hired someone to come in and plunk these signs down. I really think one way to address this, and I'm not even sure this would be a legal way to address this, but to require the sign companies, when someone orders one of these signs, 24 by 24, anyway, when someone orders a sign, to deliver to them along with the sign a copy of the ordinance instructing them, that tells them where they can place signs and where they can't place them. I don't think we have that in the ordinance. I don't know if legally we could do that, but I think that might help somewhat.
Mr. President.
Mr. Richardson.
Yeah, I don't believe Mr. Hollis is specifically referencing those type of signs. Political signs. We're talking about political signs where people know what the law is, and it is an apparent flagrant disregard for the law. It's not done out of ignorance. The signs are out there. So what's going to be done, I don't have a clue. But Mr. Hollis is on target. He's not saying something that's untrue.
Is there anyone relative to the administration that would like to offer any commentary?
Yeah, Mr. President, stand by. So, Mr. President, this is Ricardo Woods. So to the extent municipal enforcement handles these issues, what we'll do is monitor the areas that you all have talked about. And as Mr. Hollis stated, people need to continue to turn this information into 311. And Mr. Hollis specifically mentioned signs. Are you saying that the same signs belonging to the same people?
Generally, yes, yes.
All right, if you'd send us that information, that'd be helpful.
All right, I'll send it to you.
Who should he send it to?
Thank you, Mr. Hollis, and thank you, Mr. Woods.
Okay. Mr. President, we have Reggie Hill.
Thank you, Madam City Clerk, Mr. President, members of the council, to our mayor, citizens, stakeholders of Mobile. Good morning. Reggie Hill, 1007 Center Street. Rise today to speak on a few issues. I want to begin by thanking our Parks and Recreation Director and Mr. Collins. A couple of weeks back, I addressed a matter of concern within our community, particularly dealing with lights at one of our parks. And within a couple of days, they had that matter taken care of, excuse me, for our young kids. And so I'm very appreciative of that. As well, I signed up to speak about blight. And I want to remind the council of a CIP ordinance that was amended to tackle some of these matters. And so I wanted to ask about the status of a $300,000 grant that was submitted within the District 2. We've had some people that have reached out to me saying that this has been inaccessible. And so maybe we can just get a follow-up on that as well. I believe Blight has an idea with our annexation as well. So I wanted to throw this tidbit out there. And we're looking at the numbers and being able to increase the number of resources that are available, particularly through grants because of that. And I would look at some of the blighted areas within District 2 alone. If this is really about the numbers, we can bring those people into the district as it exists, into the city as it exists, without having to expand maybe necessarily geographically, and still get those same numbers in place to go after those grants that we're talking about. I believe that can really tackle blight as well. So that's something that we can consider. The next piece that I was asking about was the Public Works Department. And I just wanted to follow up on this inventory list that I've been inquiring about for almost a year now. There was supposed to be some type of communication from the administration and the council president. So I'm still just worrying about that. The next piece I wanted to address was with the body cameras. I want to commend this council and administration. The elders used to say the squeaky wheel finally gets the grease. I remember when we initially had this meeting regarding this. And so my question was pertaining to when I first addressed this at a public safety committee meeting, when it was brought up initially after the Michael Moore incident, the then public safety director alluded to the idea that because of the data, how much it costs for data storage, that was what was hindering us from moving forward with the contract initially. So I had an opportunity to meet with the new public safety director. I'm very appreciative of that time. It makes our staff a success for the future. And I told him that I would address this today and ask about that. I wanted to know, can we know how much of that previous contract is related to the data storage, the percentage of the amount of money that's going towards it? Because I think that's going to be very important as we move forward and maintain the information. The piece on the violence, Success for the Future is about a few weeks out from an exploratory study we've been doing for a little over a year on how I believe we can eradicate these things. I heard a council member earlier call for a public safety committee meeting. I'm hoping that maybe in conduct with that one, we can possibly present some of these findings, or there'll be something else scheduled, since this is its own unique arena in itself. And then finally, I'm going to wait until next week when we're all back at the chambers to address the distribution of resources. I saw that the 21191 with the waterfront development will be held over. So I think that'll be perfect time to address it then. So thank you all for using the floor. I hope that somebody will respond to those questions.
Okay, let's move on.
Madam City Clerk.
Okay. Essential COVID items held over. If there's no objection, I will take all of these together. 08266, approved purchase order to Precision Delta for ammunition. 08267, approved purchase order to Joe Bullitt Chevrolet for a crew cab pickup truck. 08268, approved purchase order to CDW Government for annual subscription to anti-malware software. 08269, approved item-based bid for Taser brand electroshock equipment. 0827, approved item-based bid for municipal emergency services for firefighting helmets. 08271, approved item-based bid from Martin Marietta Materials and Vulcan Construction Materials for aggregate. 09272, transfer monies from general fund to the capital improvement fund for a contract with Volkert related to the Mobile Public Safety Facility. 21273, authorized contract with Madden Engineering for a spill prevention control countermeasure plan for 4 city facilities. 09285, reallocate monies from capital improvement reserve account to Mardi Gras Park.
So moved.
Second.
The properly moved and second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Yes. I'm sorry. I was slow on unmuting.
All right.
Ms. Rich?
Thank you very much. For 09272, if we could get that study that precedes why we're going on into I don't know, is this a design phase? So it would be nice to have that former information that it's never come to our mailboxes, to my knowledge. I looked again. So this is, can we get confirmation that it will be coming to us?
Yeah, this is Jim Barber again. That is a space analysis study along with the geotechnical study of the site. And so we'll get all that to you. That's already been instructed to get it to all city council.
And what is the 10,000 going to do from Volkert? What aspect of this transformation does that include?
This actually goes to, again, this is a space analysis and a geotechnical survey. And you had asked, it's been some time pre-COVID, I believe, about a rendering of what this complex could possibly look like. And so that is the completion of the contract with ADG, and Volkert is managing that part of it for us to get that rendering.
And the information about the soils on site, what's an update on that?
That is also attached. That will be that's the geotechnical survey that was done. That'll be attached to the space analysis when you receive it.
Okay, and will we receive it soon so we can keep educating our residents?
Yeah, it's already been sent over to get that information to you. So we expect you should have it today. I apologize for not getting it to you sooner. I know the request was made last week.
Okay. All right. And then on the 09285, it reads in front of us that it's a capital improvement reserve account. And Rayla is supposed to give us some more information.
That's the information. This is Celia.
Great. Okay.
In 2006, in an effort to create stability and security within the Capital Improvement Fund due to drainage issues from 100-year storms, and in 2006 would have been right after Ivan and Katrina, this reserve account was created to ensure the funds were available when needed for these storms. So that's what this project was created for in 2006.
And keep in mind, councilors, none of that money can be expended without city council approval. And so that's why you're seeing it on this particular project.
So the 650 will be used to upfront this money, but then it's going to be paid back by the foundation. So the money will be restored to the fund.
All right. So okay, it's over $1 million project, and the private side is going to refund 650 over the 130 for the 5 years. So
right.
What is the city's expense then?
The remainder, about 400,000.
Yeah, about 400,000. The difference between the million and the 650.
And the 400,000 will come out of this drainage reserve fund account?
It's a Mardi Gras, but
yes,
that was designated funds for Mardi Gras Park. It was just insufficient to take on the entire project.
Okay, so there's a separate fund that is Mardi Gras Park.
Yes.
Okay, but the 650 that will be sent back over 5 years is coming out of this drainage reserve fund. I'm really trying to connect the dots. It's
because the foundation will pay us afterwards, that we have to front the money.
Okay, and you plan to put their $130 a year back into this reserve account?
Yes.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, I think I have it now, but it's confusing. And when we approved the budget, did we see a line item that talked about this fund, or was that considered over just in surplus?
I'll have to go back and look at.
I don't recall anything similar to that. Okay.
I'll have to go back to 2006 and let you know.
Okay, and this capital reserve fund has a capital improvement reserve account has a number, and that should be also within the paperwork. So we didn't get a lot of paperwork on this. So let me look that up. Is anyone else following me on this? See, we just got okay, is that the CO144? No, CO116. That's how our resolution reads. Okay.
Any other questions or concerns? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed?
Essential COVID items being introduced for the first time, 09286 through 21302.
Mr. President.
Mr. Davis.
Mr. President, I move for immediate consideration of items 09286, 09287, 58293, 60295, 03298, 21299. The remainder to hold over 1 week pursuant to council rules.
Second.
Properly moved to second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
09286, transfer $2 million from the general fund to the capital improvement fund for phase 1, I-65 and I-10 lighting improvements. Is it okay if I take all of these together, or do I need to take them separately?
Take them all together.
Take them all together.
Okay, 09287, reallocate money from citywide drainage and from citywide bridge and culvert repairs to Pago, Texas Street and Ann Street rebuild. 58293, assess cost removal of weeds, repeat Wheatling Group 45. 6295, determine an appropriation to the Mobile Sports and Entertainment Group, serves a public purpose and approve payment. 03298, appoint Carrie Morin to the Architectural Review Board. 21299, authorized contract with 10X Software Solutions for the use of electronic poll books and related software equipment.
So moved.
Second. Properly moved and second. Any discussion?
Yes.
Ms. Rich?
Okay, and this one also is a language issue on 09286, the $2 million. Our resolution reads it's coming out of general fund 1000. And then it gets assigned to this new capital project account. Is this coming out of the general fund budget, or is it coming out of reserve funding? That was not part of a line item for general fund.
This is Jim Barber again. Again, it is coming out of general fund unassigned surplus. It's coming out of the fund balance, but it's unassigned monies being moved from general fund to capital.
Okay, but it's out of the surplus that we were not operating or had within the general fund for the balance of the year. Is that correct? Okay, so I know this is nuances, but it is a big difference when you're trying to tell the community where you allocated the funds from. And I think it's clear enough to say that it's coming out of surplus funds. I'm comfortable with that. And I hear what the chief of staff is saying, that it's general fund surplus, but we didn't put it into the general fund. We didn't put it in, even though it's unallocated, because that's a separate line when it's reserved surplus, because it had no home.
That's right. That's right, Ms. Rich. This is Ricardo Wood speaking. You did not put it into the general fund because that is not allowed.
Right.
And so that's why we have it on the council agenda. It can only be done in conjunction with recommendation from the mayor, and then concurrence by the council. So you're absolutely correct. You did not do that.
Right, because then it would require a budget amendment, and we're not doing that. We're using surplus funds because we're not changing anything with it or amending the initial budget back from October. So it really should be that it's unassigned balance in the surplus funds, not general fund. General fund is approved and part of the overall budget.
No. That's not correct. And, and I hate for the confusion. So somebody's probably given us bad information if they've told you that. Let me tell you what it actually is. It actually is in the general fund. It's a surplus, which does not require an amendment. What it requires is that the mayor put it before you, as he's doing with the council, and that the council vote on it. It can only be done with concurrence. So it is general fund, as you said correctly, and it is being put before the council so that it can be done properly.
Mr. Woods.
Were these monies put into the general operating budget?
No.
I get that. That's what I'm trying to say. I understand that. I think we're on the same page, but it's not out of the general fund.
No. Sorry.
That would require a budget amendment.
Listen.
I agree with you. It doesn't require the budget amendment, but it's not coming out of the general fund. It's coming out of surplus.
No. Listen, we're saying three different things. It is coming out of the general fund. It is coming out of surplus, but it's not coming out of operating. So there's a difference between everything that is in the operating fund on the general side is in the general fund. Okay. But everything that's in surplus general is also general. I know it's nuanced, but I want to make sure that everybody understands exactly what we're saying and what we're not saying. So it is in the general fund surplus. It was not in operating, which is why we're before the council. So you're correct in saying it was not in operating, but you're not correct in saying it's not in general.
Then how do you separate what is surplus over what is general?
That's a more nuanced conversation, but it is a matter of when you all vote on the budget for general operating, that is lined up. Surplus is a different story.
So, Mr. President,
when you use surplus money at the top of a budget year, when you use surplus money at the top of a budget year, it requires another public hearing because it's not something that was put into the fund base. But I understand, I think we're all working towards making this happen. I just want to be able to explain it correctly. And that's the problem with this right now. And again, if you're saying it's a general fund, but it's surplus and it's still there and doesn't require an amendment. Okay. I never thought it required an amendment, but I thought there was a line item that just spoke to surplus funding that the city had. And
Mr. Richardson, then Ms. Gregory.
Yes, sir. Mr. President, Desire Back requires the mayor to submit to this council a proposed budget. And I believe when we get down to the bottom line of what Bess is saying, what we're voting on now was not in that budget. What we're voting on was not in that budget. So it's possible during the budget year that you end up with more money than what you expected. That's a surplus. But in the next year, unless you program that money back into the budget, it's got to be put somewhere as surplus. Because if we're only voting during the budget cycle, we are only voting on what's in the budget. We're not voting on any money that's anywhere else. We're voting on what the mayor proposed. And I don't believe what we're voting on today was in the budget when we voted on the mayor's 2020-2021 budget. I don't remember seeing it in the budget.
Ms. Greger?
Oh, thank you, Mr. President. You know, like Beth said, I think we're all on the same page. It's just a lot of nuance and just wording. But from what I understand, most of this, if not all, is just underruns from other projects from previous years. And so if that's the case, then doesn't that money just go back into the general fund, and that's why we're able to use this?
Oh, no, that's not true. That's not how we got the money.
I don't know. Is there, Ricardo, if you're still on, or anybody?
If you would restate that question, Councilwoman Gregory.
No, something that I was thinking and had seen some information on was that some of these funds, if not all of it, are effectively just underruns from other projects from previous years that go into obviously what would be a surplus. And of course, then that money just goes back into the general fund.
That happens on capital, but typically not on general.
Not on projects, maybe just general fund, yeah.
Right. That typically doesn't happen. So I'm more than happy to answer any of you all's questions just about the general makeup of this, but we're doing what's required by the act by putting it before the council.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Yes, Mr. President.
Mr. Vice President.
Yeah, first I'd like to thank the mayor and also his administrations for putting this well-needed item on our agenda before us on today. Thank you so much. I do have a statement, and if I'm wrong, I would like the administration to correct me. But during our break, I had a message asking, have the lights been approved and when it's going to be shining? And my response back to them is that, this was before us today is a transfer. So just want to make sure that, the citizens know this is not the actually contract for a particular company to go ahead and start the lights, put up the lights on tomorrow. This is actually a transfer of money from, from the general funds to this account here. And also from my understanding that the contract may be before council in 3 weeks. And so if the council approve a contract in say in a month's time, maybe in the middle of June before we start seeing lights being put up. And if I'm wrong, I would like for the administration to correct me, but this is the information that I had given a citizen between pre-council and council meeting today. And again, just want to clarify to the citizens, we will not be seeing lights put up tomorrow. This is just a transfer of money from one account to another account in lines of, going ahead and try to get some bids on putting the lights up. And then once the administration get the bids, they will bring us the best bid to us, to the council. And therefore we can vote on it. And then after we vote on it and it passes, then the administration will go ahead and authorize the contract to the winner, and then they'll go ahead and proceed with the lights. Thank you, Mr. President.
Yes, sir, Mr. Vice President. Any further discussion? Not? All in favor? Opposed?
Call for public hearings, 41297, call for public hearing to rezone property located at 2100 North University Boulevard, east side of North University Boulevard, at the east terminus of Mickey Drive and the east terminus of LeBaron Drive South, from R1 to B1, scheduled May 18th.
So move.
Second.
Second. Properly moved and second. Any discussion? Not all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Mr. President, I'm out.
Announcement.
I'll see y'all later. I got nothing. I'm gonna see y'all.
Ms. Rich.
All right, John.
Okay, thank you very much. If I could request a statement from either our finance department on exactly what funds went for the lights. I'm all in. They need to be repaired, fixed, or replaced, whatever it takes. And looking forward to those contracts coming to council. It's a big safety issue, but just an understanding exactly how the administration viewed that movement of money so that I could also let my constituents know exactly what transpired with that $2 million. And again, that's an excellent thing. And I just want to remind people that there's a food truck event up at Medal of Honor this afternoon actually starts at 4 and runs till 9. It's with the Parks and Recreation Department. So come on out and be part of that fun. And also there is a COVID vaccination center set up at the Connie Hudson Senior Center. It goes from 1 to 4. I learned about it yesterday. I did send out an email to people who get the newsletter in District 6, but if anyone else wants to promote that, that would be great. Again, that's 1 to 4 at the Connie Hudson Senior Center for anyone interested in getting a COVID shot. And I understand there's no appointment and it's for anyone 16 and older who wishes to be vaccinated. So again, and I thank USA Health for organizing that and looking forward to people responding affirmative and getting up there and presenting themselves if it's something they see fit to do. And again, thank you and enjoy this nice weather.
Thank you. Mr. Richardson.
Okay. I would like to say that the mayor announced, and I would like to reiterate that there will be a cleanup at Tricentennial Park this Saturday, starting at 8 and going to 11. And I'm inviting all the citizens in District 1 to come out and participate in this great cleanup. The splash pad, there's a new splash pad being installed at the Tricentennial Park. They're laying the flooring down now, and they expect to have this new splash pad up and running by summer when it's time to open up the park for splash pads. This park will be ready. While we were in a meeting, a fire truck rolled up in front of my house, and I got concerned. And it parked, and the farmers got out, and I know I didn't smell any smoke here. So what they did is a fire hydrant in front of my house.
Oh yeah.
They got out and their goal was to make sure it was water coming out of the fire. So they got out and cut it on water, went everywhere, then they cut it back off and left. And I just want the citizens in Linwood to know that the fire hydrant in Linwood is working in case there is a fire. They just came by to check on it. And that's it, Mr. President.
Mr. Daves.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would just like to remind everybody that we do have a Finance Committee meeting a week from today at 1 o'clock. Yes, 1 o'clock. And Madam Clerk, I assume that will be in the room you're currently in right now, the City Council Conference Room, correct?
Yes, sir.
And that's to discuss the progress that's been made with respect to directing city contracts to economically and socially disadvantaged businesses in the city of Mobile, and also to get an update on the federal relief that's been provided to the city of Mobile as a result of the COVID crisis, and what maybe if there's been any update as to the rules on how that might be spent. And if we could get Ms. McAvoy to put out a notice about that. I'm not sure we've had one put out, but even if we have, we probably need to get another one out. And so that's a week from today at 1 o'clock in the council conference room. Thank you, sir.
And Mr. Dave, social distancing will be observed in this room. So
okay.
Just want to put that out there.
And make Ms. McAvoy, if you could make sure that notice goes to both the, needs to go to the city's finance director, Mr. Holt, and I think on the socially disadvantaged businesses, we need Ms. Kidd, and I think we had asked Mr. Woods, the city attorney, also to attend that. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Mr. Vice President.
Thank you, Mr. President. This past weekend, the administration had planned a cleanup at Valhalla Park, Randall Park, which is also known as Duval Street Park. And because of the weather, they canceled it and moved to May the 15th, which I was planning on doing a second big Maysville and North DIP cleanup. So with the two of us together, it should be a great success on Saturday, May the 15th, from 8:30 to 11:30. And I'd like to thank the administration for choosing that day and time also but we can all just work on one accord and work together. Again, on Saturday, May the 15th, from 8:30 to 11:30 should be a great time. On last week, I did announce this, and I did had a couple of people to call and to say that they would like to volunteer. But again, we also looking for volunteers for May the 15th, which is Saturday, and from 8:30 to 11:30, and to pretty much to meet at the Bahama Randall's Park, which is located on Duval Street, also known as Duval Park. And again, I'm not just inviting just the Maysville area, but also the North DIP area also. On next Tuesday, I'll have some exciting news for the citizens of District 3. So please keep your ears open for some great and exciting news on next Tuesday during council meeting. And also just want to remind not only the citizens of District 3, but the citizens throughout the city of Mobile, because I have been receiving some phone calls from citizens outside of District 3 regarding the different city issues. And again, many people think that the city council can just snap their fingers and get things done, but that's not true. We have to go through a process also. I had a citizen to reach out to me this past weekend and stated that they had called 311 about a particular issue and expect for it to be done within 2 days. And they called me this weekend, and I was saying, unfortunately, government don't move that fast. And I'm just advising all citizens, especially if you're experiencing overgrown grass, because we know April showers bring May flowers along with, overgrown grass and weeds. That grass is growing. And therefore, I have a house that is a rental house not too far from me. And pretty much I thought that the tenants was going to, cut their grass like they do every 2 weeks. And 3 weeks went by and found out that the tenants had moved. And after I found out the tenants had moved out of their house, of course, they haven't cut their grass within 2 weeks, and now grass is high. So therefore, grass is high. I called 311 and reporting it. And I know it's going to be at least probably, 4 to 6 weeks before it may be before the council, because the city had to, go through this necessary process of doing the due diligence. And I do know they're on top of it, because I saw a car came by yesterday and looked at the property, and I figured that's what it was. But again, if you see grass growing, weeds growing in your community, go ahead and dial 311. Don't think that someone else had reported it. Just go ahead and just dial 311 and just go ahead and report it. And again, the quicker that you report city issues, the quicker that the city can get on top of it and address those situations. Again, it don't happen by the snap of a finger. The city have to go through a process. And again, that's any city issue that you have, please dial 311. If you cannot dial 311, especially from your cell phone, please dial 251-208-5311 and report the issue. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. Ms. Gregory.
Thank you, Mr. President. We had talked about the trash schedule and the problem that we were having in getting new trucks and other equipment ordered. And I had mentioned that I had received a phone call from one of my residents today, just asking about what they should continue doing because, you know, the trash was behind. I got a phone call during the meeting saying that the crews had been there this morning and picked it up. So she wanted to be sure to let me know that they had been by the neighborhood to pick up the trash. But of course, as you heard earlier, we are behind. So if you do have trash on your curb and you have missed the pickup because of the issues with weather and equipment and that sort of thing, as Colonel DeLapp and the mayor mentioned earlier, just go ahead, you know, keep it out there. The crews will get to you, and just we appreciate all of your patience. But I had to let you know that the person who called me this morning was calling back to say, hey, they came by the house this morning. So that was great to hear. And like Mr. Richardson, I too saw the fire truck come by and they got out right across the street from my house. Mr. Richardson, you and I live in a good location apparently because we've got the fire hydrants right next to our homes. But they were checking the water pressure too. So it was great to see them out doing that, just, you know, making sure that if something happens, we've got all the water pressure that we need to put out a house fire. A couple of other things going on in the district. Tomorrow at 1:30, we will hold a news conference in Langham Park to talk about the Langham plan and just give everybody some updates on where we are and what we can expect. There's also some news on dredging the lake at Langham Park. So it is at 1:30 at Langham Park. Just come in the main entrance and we will be by the picnic pavilions. They, the ones nearest Ziegler are already fenced off. So that's where we'll be and everyone is invited to come. On Saturday, there will be another District 7 COVID vaccination event. This one will be at St. John's United Methodist Church. It is at 6215 Overlook Road. This is again partnering with USA Medical, the city, and of course St. John's. The vaccines will be for anyone 16 years of age and up. And the people have asked, they are Pfizer. It's the Pfizer vaccine. So come on out, get there early. Hopefully the weather will coordinate and be okay, and we don't have to worry about it, but it is from 8 o'clock in the morning until noon. So again, that's at St. John United Methodist Church on Overlook Road. And lastly, just want to congratulate the leadership and all of the members of St. Ignatius Church. On Sunday, they will be dedicating their new building. If you've driven up and down Spring Hill Avenue in the last probably couple of years, actually, the church has been building a brand new facility, and we will dedicate that on Sunday morning starting at 9:30, and I really look forward to seeing everyone there. The last thing I wanted to talk about is a neighborhood cleanup that has been planned in the Carriage Woods community. They had to postpone because of inclement weather, but they have now rescheduled for May, hoping that all of those April showers will be finished, and we'll be looking at some drier weather. So they have rescheduled for May 8th. So of course, anyone who wants to come out and help volunteer, you will be welcome. And I think that will do me, Mr. President. Thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Gregory, I want to salute Ray Richardson. She is a very hardworking city employee, a resident of District 2. And for several years, she has sought after a Brownfields grant for the Africatown community. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. She kept venturing. The city kept venturing, and we were able to gain this particular grant. On Thursday, we will have a community meeting via Zoom to keep the community apprised and also to make certain that we have the requisite community input and support that's needed. CERM and Al Edwards, quite capable, will be working along with Ms. Richardson and other city staff to accomplish this goal. Many hours have gone into bringing this into fruition. And I just want to recognize Ms. Ray Richardson for her stick-to-itiveness, staying at it. We finally secured the grant, and I believe Africa Town's future and the cleanup in some of those areas, hopefully we'll be getting even closer due to her due diligence and to the hard work of all city staff involved. So that's Thursday afternoon. I believe I'm programmed to bring some greetings. I look forward to doing that. And we appreciate all of the hard work of all of the community groups there in the Africa Town community. There's several, all of them working hard, all of them wanting the best for that very unique community. And that's what we're working toward. Any other announcements?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Been properly moved and second. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? See you all next week in Government Plaza.
Thank you.